So I used to have two eyes. I would say that now my third eye has opened towards that. So thanks for sharing that beautiful program with me.
Hello, hello, Yash.
How are you?
I'm good. Yash कर रहा हूँ. How are you?
All good जी. ऐश करने की आदत डाल रहा हूँ.
Okay.
Okay. So first of all, I want to thank audience who has given us so much love and who has went through all the podcasts what we have done. At the start of the journey we were just 11, we have just 11 subscribers, and now we have around 415. So it shows that people are finding value in it and sharing their love. And just to continue from there, we are now entering into the phase two of it, exploring into more deep conversations around what we have already discovered. And I would like to thank you, Munish Ji, first of all. So I want to share a background of this conversation, what we are going to start from today. So what happened was, after that podcast, there was something happening within me, and Munish just suggested to go through a boundaryless program. So it's a program designed by Munish Ji, and it is a program which makes you look world from a different perspective, from a different view, and make you understand the journey of creating your own self-image, finding the purpose of life. So I have gone through that. It's a beautiful program. I think it has transformed me in a lot many ways, and more than what I would have imagined. And now Muniji has shared with me advanced program of that, which is continuing boundaryless program. So I'm in the middle of that, and that is also transforming me to the next level. And that has also opened new opportunities in front of me and new set of questions, and probably that will also give direction to the audience who has subscribed to us and who are actively listening to us. So Manish ji, I am coming with a new set of series of questions, so looking forward towards your input on it. So I would like, for the audience well-being, I would like if you can share a brief about BBP before we jump on to the series of questions.
Okay. So being boundaryless program is a 10 session program, each session about 2.5 hours. It's interactive. And essentially what happens is in the being boundaryless program that you repeatedly meet yourself in expanded awareness.
Hmm.
So you meet yourself, then awareness expands, then you meet again yourself, then something new opens up.
Hmm.
Then you again meet yourself, again expand, expand. So it's expansion, meeting. And by the time the program ends, uh, the audience is at a different level of awareness about self and the world. So, if I say in other words, it is an examination of your relationship with yourself, with world, and with things.
No, I can definitely relate to that. That has opened. So I used to have two eyes. I would say that now my third eye has opened towards that. So thanks for sharing that beautiful program with me. And so let's see how this thing will open up that program for everyone listening us. So yeah, jumping on to part two of this conversation, which is also going to lay down the foundation of this series. So probably what I found was means the deeper level where we need to delve into at the moment is to identify those boundaries. We already discussed about those boundaries, but now let's look uh, at a more deeper level into those boundaries. And how I want you to structure those boundaries is like some of the boundaries are very clear, they are in front of us, and probably we will start with them, and then we will go to a very subtle level. So the order of those boundaries will be, we will start from very clear, very transparent, and on our face boundaries, and go to the ones which are where we are not able to identify ourselves, or which are not that you can say visible. So yeah, starting in this order, the first boundary, I think, which is also uh, probably it can also create a lot of trouble. It can also create a lot of turbulence in people's mind, and the world is already divided into multiple parts due to it. And every house is now also, even a small society, they are also dividing into different parts due to it. So the keyword or the phrase is religion. So I would like you to put some light on it, what religion is in terms of boundary, and how it makes difficult for a human to see other human as a human. Yeah, over to you.
Well, religion is something that we normally get in inheritance. And of course, in some cases, there are opportunities to change it. But because it comes to us from sanskar, from family, from a big bringing, usually this is a consolidated boundary.
Hmm.
It is in rare cases that religion is a porous boundary.
So, sorry to interrupt. I think I would like another 2 minutes on a tangent. If you can throw some light again, a very brief light again on porous, consolidated, and hardened boundaries. Obviously, the people who have been with us throughout the last series, they might remember it, but for the new audience and the people, it can be a refresher. So, yeah, if you can give a quick glimpse on that and then go back to your religion definition.
So porous boundaries are those boundaries across which assimilation happens. For example, if you have a pea and you put it in water, it swells, and its swell comes in water.
Hmm.
So both ways assimilation has happened. Consolidated boundaries are which are prisons. You don't know that there is something outside the prison because you're born in that prison. So religion is also kind of a prison because we get it from sanskar. And hardened boundaries are prerequisites for a conflict to arise. You look up all conflicts in the world, whether between individuals or groups or nations or whatever, there is a hardened boundary between these two set of people. Is
Yeah,
that clear? Yeah.
right. So probably now we can go back to religion thing.
Religion. Okay. So religion usually creates a consolidated boundary because usually the scope of practices, number of people in a religion are enough for someone to interact in a lifetime.
Hmm.
And they kind of fulfill all kinds of your needs. And there is less exposure to other religions. Resultantly, what happens is I consider my religion greater than others, better than others. So that superiority complex, which in normal language people call pride, creates distances with followers of other religions. And enough number of wars across history have happened around that one thing.
Interesting take. Probably, let's say, if I am born as Hindu and that by choice or forced onto me, so if I go by the force, it might be at till the age of teenager. But after teenager, you start exploring your own meaning of life and values of life. And probably that's the time when that consolidated boundary either turns into a hardened boundary or it start becoming porous. And there is a shift which creates another set of boundary. Let's say if I'm Hindu, it might become a case like I transformed that boundary into now as a Christian. And now I have another boundary. So I replaced a boundary of a Hindu with a boundary of a Christian or a similar transformation.
I essentially believe that what I believe is superior. What I
Hmm.
follow is superior than others.
Yeah.
And religion needs followers. Religious leaders are continuously engaged in increasing followers. And not for any other reason, but because they believe. that their religion is better than others' religion, superior.
And probably that's also the reason why, let's say, if we think of Hinduism, there are multiple sects which came out of Hinduism because later people find something additional which is more superior, and they give it another name, and then it is another religion which is in formation. And probably that is something what is happening around us also in the form of different organizations which are coming up. At the moment they are not calling themselves as cult, but they are probably the future religions. All right.
Essentially, the superiority and the desire to increase followers. Desire to increase followers at some stage becomes a cause of conflict.
So there are two. If I just separate the religious organization from the person who is practicing that religion, there are two parts. So the religious organization is someone who is trying to increase the followers because they need more people, more strength, and more power. But as a practitioner of that religion, what could be my underlying uh, reasons of following that religion? What are my underlying emotions related with those religion?
If I fast on Monday, because that is what I've learned from my mother, then I believe that fasting is good.
Mm,
If I fast during Ramadan, then that is what I've learned from my ancestors. I believe
mm,
that is important. And another factor which gets people rooted in the religion is fear.
mm,
The stories are there. If you don't do this, something wrong will happen. Another thing is, another reason is some kind of belief in supernatural power and his power to grant your wishes. So greed.
mm. Yeah,
That also gets people rooted in a particular religion.
right. Yeah, that is what we learn as a kid also, right? Means if you go to temple and pray, then you will get good marks. If you go and pray or you practice fasting on Mondays, you will get a good husband. So I think those rituals are there and those are practiced across religions. So they're not limited or only related to one religion. They have different forms and shapes in different rituals in different religions. But the main purpose is, which I agree, is greed. We are thinking that there is someone who is listening to our prayers and those prayers will get fulfilled. And then there is a driving force is a fear. If I don't practice it on a regular basis, then that someone might get offended and my wishes might not get fulfilled. Yeah.
So if you look at it deeply, religions prescribe do's and don'ts. That is for social stability. But in practice, they become dogmas to be followed no matter what.
And other aspect probably around that do's and don'ts is, like, if we look at science, it's always evolving. Uh, the science of last 50 years is different from what we have now. But religion's do's and don'ts don't change with time. That is also, I think, a conflict in itself. Because if we see that if something was designed as a do's and don'ts, it's designed for a certain type of society at a certain period of time. But if you're still following it without questioning or redesigning it for today's audience, I think that is also somehow, I think the reason is same, fear, I guess.
That is one. Second is through individual rebellions, the religions do get
Hmm.
little bit modified here and there. But the book-based religions don't have that liberty. There, the only choice is follow it or don't follow it. If you don't follow it, you are a sinner. Maybe society will outcast you. So they get diluted.
Hmm.
They get diluted. They're not followed as strictly with time and evolution. That is why the impact or influence of religion on people's mind is reducing.
Yes. Yes.
Most of the rituals have lost their meanings, lost their importance, are only done more as a tradition than with any sincerity.
Right. And there is one word which you used, outcast. From there comes another dimension of it, a caste. So, first question is, if we have religion and we have already divided society around it, then why there came a need of having a caste on it? Uh, Somehow, as we learnt, it was more like its casteism is only practiced in Hinduism, but now if we see around the world, it's everywhere. Every country has casteism in one way or another. Somewhere it's very visible, somewhere it's not visible, but it is there. So, from where does it come in the current scenario or in the current society?
See, if we talk in terms of Indian subcontinent, the caste emerged, it was linked to, or it emerged from occupation. What is the work one is involved with? And of course, when there are multiple works to be done in society, some will have higher value, some will have not so higher value. So accordingly, the castes also got into a hierarchy. And then superior, inferior, superior, inferior. And then they also, see, till industrial revolution or urbanization, uh, most people stayed at one place all life. Maybe would travel 100 and 200 kilometers, maybe in whole lifetime. So it was easier to observe and
Hmm.
strictly adhere to the caste system. I have heard in childhood that if you go out somewhere and eat in a restaurant, you don't know who has cooked that food, which caste person. Then came the intercaste marriage, but that hierarchy still remains largely.
Yeah.
And then the person of other caste with whom I have a boundary, I don't see him as a human being, strictly speaking. I see him as a person of belonging to that caste. So there are caste-based organizations which promote welfare of a particular caste, marriages of a particular caste, divides human beings in multiple verticals or
Hmm.
hierarchies. And you're right, because it is occupational, even though in other parts of the world, maybe the caste word is not used, but the differentiation is there. That sense of superiority or not is there.
And it comes out more in the form of color and creed, probably there. Uh,
Yes, yes.
and now people even they associate themselves with particular sports, they associate themselves with particular brand, they associate themselves with particular, let's say, musician. I think they associate themselves with a certain ideology or philosophy, which might not just come out from any religion, but it is still there. And that ideology, philosophy is a more subtle form of religion, what they're forming. They are creating groups around it. They are doing the same thing. They are thinking they are superior because they are out of religion, but still that exists. So that is another dimension, probably.
Vegan is a belief system.
Yeah. Yes.
And what to talk about? See, this differentiation will happen anywhere. See, normally, now mockingly, it is said that in the civil services, the IS are the Brahmins, the IPS are
Kshatriya.
Kshatriya, the IRS is Vaishya. So it comes to that level because of occupational difference.
Interesting.
Similarly, the privileges are also different.
Yeah. Yeah, it holds true for if I'm just thinking, if I see in army, there it's the same thing. And even in corporate. if you see in corporate, the terminology used is resource, asset. So that is a feeling, or that's the expression we are uh, putting into people's mind, that they are just an asset. If they're not producing value, then they are disposable.
Yes, you have rightly pointed out. Army and civilian are two different castes. The army
Hmm.
considers itself a superior class.
Hmm.
Employers and employees are two different castes.
Hmm.
Employer considers themselves superior.
Yeah, they are giving employment. Yes.
Yes.
Interestingly, there was someone telling me yesterday, or I think a couple of days back, like we should make our kids uh, understand, once they are going through their professional education, we should make them understand either they should be creating jobs for others, or they should be able to find a very good job for themselves. That is the direction, or that is the mapping what we are giving to people, and that is where we are injecting that seed of superiority. If you become an entrepreneur and you are creating the jobs, so you are already a superior over those people who are working under you, right?
Politician, non-politician are two castes.
Mm, mm. So I think this conversation can go on forever. Just for because just for the audience, means we are not stopping here, but we want to make sure that each episode is comes in a capsule form and it's digestible. And so that's the reason behind creating a series rather than creating one single episode or one single dialogue. So, anything as a suggestion for the audience who have listened and was with uh, us during this conversation about what should be their takeaway, or how they can differentiate themselves from these two boundaries, starting with.
If a question arises in audience's mind that do I value practitioners of other religions and people of other castes as human as I consider myself, then the purpose of this dialogue is met.
Wow, that's very powerful. Thanks. I think this is a good juncture to close this dialogue for the moment, with the promise that we will come again and touch on other boundaries, other aspect of life.
Audience, everybody be blessed.
Thanks. They are under your guidance. They will be. So thanks. Thanks.
Okay,
Bye
thank
bye.
you.